everybody. You happen to stumble across the YouTube page that talks a lot about a little. I'm Cameron Gwynn, and this is Cam Gwynn Talks. Today, I'm going to do a vinyl review. So as you can see, I got a whole stack right there. Got another stack. I got some sitting right here. I got some on my wall. So I like vinyls. I got really into them over the COVID thing. I just like music. When COVID hit, I was like, what's something fun that I can do? Let's just buy a bunch of vinyls. So here we are now. I was asking for recommendations of album reviews that I could do. I said, I don't care what it is. And someone was like, hey, why don't you do your vinyls? And I was like, you know what? That's a genius idea. So we're going to do it. Now, before I started off, I'm starting with the first vinyl that I got. And it was before I even had this record player over here. I just, liked it. It's one of my favorite artists. I had to get it. So before I get into it, before I tell you what it is, though, I got the hiccups, first off. Secondly, alright, these vinyl reviews, the songs themselves, the music itself, is probably going to be ranked a little higher than what most people would rank it, what you would personally rank it, but there's a reason I bought the vinyl, because I like either all the songs on the album or most of them. So keep that in mind while I'm doing the ratings on this. But without further ado, the first vinyl that I ever got that started this whole vinyl craze that I'm in now is none other than Bryson Tiller's True to Self, right there. Now, why that one? Like I said, Bryson Tiller is one of my favorite artists. I couldn't find Trap Soul anywhere. I wasn't really looking for it. I just happened to stumble upon it, and I was like, yes, let's get it. So, I got it. And these reviews are going to be kind of different than how I would do a normal album review. These reviews, I'm going to go hard listening to the album itself overall. I'm going to give each song its own individual rating, and then on top of that, I'm going to be giving a rating based off like the artwork, if you open it up, if there's more artwork on the inside, posters, if the vinyl is a different color, there's some bonus points that can get added into it. So let's get into it. Like I said, some of these songs are probably going to be rated higher than what you would rate it or what other people have rated it, but it's because I really enjoy this album. That's why I have it on vinyl. So let's get into it. True to Self by Bryson Tiller. This album has, let me double check, I believe it's got 17 or 18 tracks, which is a lot for the first one, but most of them will not have this many. It's got 19 tracks on this, so I'll try to run through as quickly as I can on them. I'll give you little tidbits while I'm going through. Rain on Me, the intro, it really sets up the whole scheme of what this album is about and then what we're going to be getting into. I really liked it. It's a very good setup for the whole album as a whole. Gave that a 7.2. No Longer Friends is a great song. It kind of enforces what we heard in Rain on Me in the intro and kind of has a big story behind it about this girl, about him, about how he feels about the girl, the fact that she is actually with another dude. The dude is nervous about him because it's Bryson Tiller, So I like that song a lot. I like the story behind it. It's got great lyrics. I gave that one an 8.3. Now this next song, track 3, was my favorite song going into this, and I didn't know if it was going to change or not, and we'll find out later if it changed, but Don't Get Too High was my favorite one. In my opinion, it's my favorite because he is showing real jealousy and insecurity about like not being able to have this girl, which is kind of cool. He's opening up a little bit more. He's like saying like what he could do for her or what he could do to better her situation or maybe worsen her situation if she decides that she wants to go that route, which is fun. I like it. It's really got a catchy chorus to it. It's showing where his attention is. So I really like that song. I gave it an 8.7, and yes, it does stay at my top. It's the highest rating I give on this album. Is Don't Get Too High with an 8.7. But following that up, we got kind of a stinker because this is the worst rated song that I have on here. It's called Blowin' Smoke, and it's kind of cool because it like goes off of the Don't Get Too High, kind of plays off of that, which is one thing that you might notice throughout this album is the songs go together very, very well if you listen to it straight through. If you listen to it on shuffle, you're not going to get the same effect, but it's not going to really hurt it because it's subtle. It's very subtle, but you got to listen to it straight through if you're listening to this album. This one I kind of put a skip on though because if it just comes up without me listening to this album, I'm probably gonna skip it. So Blowing Smoke, it's kind of a nice little switch up in it, but it's not the best that Bryson has done. The lyrics aren't quite there. Yeah, I gave it a 6.7. It's the lowest rating one on here. Right after that, though, he brings it back up with We Both Know, which is very slower. It's like kind of his niche. Yeah, that word. Um, it's, you know, he's talking from the heart in it. It's a little shorter, so I gave it a 7.1. I'm sure if it was a little longer, maybe had an extra verse with more explanation to what the message is in the song, it would probably get a higher rating, but I gave it a 7.1. It's not bad. Then you got, after that, You Got It, track 6. It's a solid follow up to We Both Know. Like I said, if you could listen to it straight through, it is pretty solid and it does kind of line up really, really well with what this story is supposed to be. And I will kind of get more into that once we dive into what the vinyl looks like. So You Got It. It's very catchy, straight to the point with his lyrics. It gets a little deeper on the second half, though, which I do kind of like. He starts kind of explaining himself more. Um, and the song, honestly, like, it could be about a mistress. I don't know for sure. You guys got to give it a listen. Let me know. But I gave it a 7.9. It's a solid song. Just a really good song overall. Uh, Track 7, In Check. This one almost tied for the worst rated song. I gave it a 6.8. It's so repetitive. It's him saying, I got what you need and you got what I need. You gotta keep me in check, yeah, in check. He just keeps repeating that. So, I gave it a 6.8. But follow it up with a really good song called Self Made. He's kind of just bragging, talking his crap on there, just letting people know, hey, like, I'm here. I'm here to make music. I'm gonna light stuff up if I really feel like lighting it up. Like, hey, this is me. I gave that one an 8. For the most part, going through this, I might as well just say this at the same time. I gave Self Made an 8, like I just said. All these songs up until this point sound really, really good on the vinyl. Like, they sound really, really good. Not better than they would on digital, to be honest, but it doesn't really take away from it. Self Made, it gets kind of iffy though. I don't know if it's because maybe he's using a little more auto tune, but yeah, that seems to be a problem with vinyls. So I try to steer clear of too much auto tune on vinyls because of that. After Self Made, though, track 9, you got Run Me Dry, which is like a huge switch up from what he normally makes. It kind of feels like he was trying to make a radio hit with that one because of the type of beat that is behind it and everything. That was like pretty popular when that came out. This came out in 2017, by the way. So I feel like that's what that was, and it must not have just been picked up by the radio stations, but it's different from anything else on this album. But it still has its place. It still fits in very well. I gave it an 8.1. It shows his range with, this beat because it's a different beat that he's usually not using. And then we go right from Run Me Dry to High Stakes, which is him reflecting like, hey, I went from here, now I'm here. Let's be smart. Let's maintain. Let's make sure I can stay here, is what this song is kind of showing his vulnerability a little bit. He's got very smooth delivery in it. The lyrics are awesome. Gave that one an 8.3. And then 11, we got a little bit of a break. It's the Rain Interlude, which is just a voicemail from a girl. So there's not really much to that. I didn't give it a rating, and I won't be giving ratings to like tracks that do that or that are skits, because ultimately I feel like it might take away from the score, and that's just how I feel. So no score for the Rain Interlude. I think that is fair, and plus this is my show, so you guys can't tell me what to do. So track 12, we get back into the music. We got Teach Me a Lesson. It's slower. He sounds very open in this one. Again, vulnerable. This album has a lot of vulnerability on it, which is probably why I liked it when it came out. I gave Teach Me a Lesson an 8. Like I said, this one's got lots of emotions. It's his expectations on what's going to happen in the relationship with this girl that he's been talking to throughout the whole album so far. So I give that an 8. Stay Blessed. It's a nice switch up. It's a little slow, but not too slow. It kind of sounds like he's losing the girl a little bit, but you know, he's trying to get her back. So I give that one a 7.3. Money Problems, Ben's Truck. This is track 14. I love Money Problems, but when it switches up to Ben's Truck, it doesn't lack, but it kind of takes away from Money Problems, because Money Problems as itself is a lot of fun, catchy, hype, you know, just flexing a little bit out here, which I really like. The switch up kind of like enhances his vocals a little bit, like kind of lets you see what he's about, and we already know that he was a good singer, so yeah, that one a 7.3. Set It Off. This song gets stuck in my head constantly, even though I said Don't Get Too High is my favorite song off this album. Set It Off will get stuck in my head randomly. So does Money Problems, actually. But Set It Off always does. It's slow. It's like kind of lovey. It's kind of like the chorus is, she would pull a gun for me, pop one, she'll take, or pop two, she'll take one for me. So like, it's kind of like, this is a ride or die. She's here with me no matter what. I gave that an 8.1. Never mind this interlude. This one I did rate, actually, because he is singing. He's kind of telling a story a little bit. I actually wrote down Don't Never Mind This. It's got a good beat that fits his delivery. And what more can I say? It's got a 7.9 on that one. And then Before You Judge Me, right after that, it's hard beat. He's kind of like letting you know he's on top of this. He's Pen Griffey on this one to the fullest extent. I gave that one a 4, or sorry, wow, 4. I gave that one an 8.3. Something Tells Me, track 18. It's very open from the jump. It's very R&B sounding. This is the most R&B sounding song on the album. I gave that one a 7.7. And then that leads into the Always outro, which it sounds like a continuation of Something Tells Me. Like, it could have just been a 6-minute song and it would have been cool. It's good. He's talking directly to the girl is what it sounds like. So I gave the outro a 7 overall. So just to reiterate, my favorite song off the album, Don't Get Too High, gave it an 8.7. My least favorites on the album, Blowing Smoke and In Check. We had a 6.7 for Blowing Smoke, 6.8 for In Check, respectively. A couple other highly rated songs on here. It was High Stakes with an 8.3, No Longer Friends with an 8.3, and Before You Judge with an 8.3 as well. So overall, it gets a 7.3 when you add and divide. 7.3 overall for the album itself. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, even though I'm going to love these albums. That's why I have them on vinyl. Bless me, that kind of hurt. So now that we got that portion of it done, I can set this aside and we can just grab it and look at it. So if you're familiar with the digital, it's the same cover as we see with the digital. On the back, a whole lot of the same. Open it up, and it's just the, oh my gosh, allergies. Just got some credits right here on this side. This side has a definition of what true to self is. I'll read that real quick because it kind of does help give a little bit of an explanation to the album as a whole. So it says true to self, phrase, and it's got two definitions. The first definition, it says, when you are being true to yourself, you are completely honest with what you feel, deeply value, and desire. It also means communicating your feelings wholeheartedly, both with yourself and others, allowing your truth to flow through you and into the world. And then the second definition is enjoy, which I do enjoy. I do like this. So that was cool. I do like that it's got that little note with like a little explanation as to why this album is what it is, because like I was saying, it does really feel like a whole message is going on through here. He's talking to this girl, he's trying to win her back, he's airing out all of his issues that he's had, everything that he's done wrong to her, all the things he's done right for her. You know, he's just like, he's trying to let her know, hey, I'm here for you. So with that, I gave it a 5.5. Normally for these ratings, they're going to be around a 5 if it's the same. Um, but with that little definition, I feel like it kind of helps. So now, this is the cool part. Every time it's going to be a surprise. Here's the disc. Before I show you the disc, it's kind of just a boring sleeve. Nothing to it. No bonus points for that. That would have gone into the cover art if the sleeve is cool. The disc gets its own rating, and this was just it was a big surprise for me. It's orange. It's orange. Or yellow, yellowy orange, gold kinda. I love the color of it. It was a huge surprise. I wasn't ready for that. So I gave it an 8 because I got some other cool vinyls that you guys are gonna see, but this color is just nice. So that being said, when you listen to it, like I had mentioned, every song sounds great except for what song did I say was iffy? What song did I say was iffy? Where'd it go? Yeah, except for Self-Made. Self-Made sounded kind of iffy. It's probably because of the auto-tune, slight auto-tune that he uses on that. But overall, it doesn't take away from your listening ability when you're listening to it. So I just gave it the same rating that it had overall as 7.3. So then you add them all up, average it with the rating of a 5.5 for the cover art and the inside art and the sleeve art, and then an 8 for the yellowy gold color of the vinyl, 7.3. So overall, this vinyl, True to Self by Bryson Tiller, my first vinyl that I ever got, it got a 7.03 rating. So, I would say if you like Bryson Tiller, get it. With all that being said, let's figure out what the next one is actually real quick. So I got this little wheel. It's got all my vinyls in it, and we're just gonna remove them as we go. So thank you guys for watching. I'll have the wheel spin. If there are any albums that you want me to review that aren't vinyl reviews, comment. If you know me, you can text me, DM me, whatever. Thank you guys again for watching the YouTube page. It talks a lot about a little. And here's the next vinyl we're going to do.